like, who? Here I go. And they were like, no, it's somebody other than me. And I was like, where that fool at? I want to see him. So who here? Who we here to interview, man? Let me know.
Mother sucker. Yeah. She's a bad, bad. She's a bad mother sucker. Let's go to the corner.
Let's go.
Every Wednesday night. Key-notez on Shimley's hosting.
Be on the corner too.
So you know that shit is tight. That corner's a bad. She's a bad, bad. She's a bad mother sucker. Yeah. Bad. She's a bad. She's a bad mother sucker. Oh, let's go.
Because our clothing, our feet, I give the dick what it needs. I got the dick blues. The dick blues. I got old coochie, but only in age. Coochie from the 40s to the civil rights days. Club woman coochie. Sharecrop running coochie. Keep your dress tails down, pants, legs up coochie. Nothing like this coochie of today. My coochie makes men sweat. Makes men pray just to court me, escort me, or sit on my front porch. I have an integrationist coochie, but not always at will. Some avoiding being killed, picking in the field type coochie. I got some you better get married before you give it away coochie. Some don't let man touch you that way coochie. You know, cooking every day coochie, putting your laundry away coochie, raising your kids type coochie, not just having them. I got black power coochie. Red bag hanging in the shower coochie, money purse around your waist, you better know your place coochie. I got before AIDS coochie. Jungle Bunny and Jezebel called days coochie, tent church praise coochie, two-parent raised coochie. I got said loud coochie. Black and proud coochie, not this wild coochie you see nowadays just looking for sex. You can call me Coochie X. I got baby making coochie. Missionary position praying coochie, my coochie even had the dream. I got banana dress coochie like Miss Josephine. I got Madam C.J. Walker millionaire coochie. Dashiki dressed up for when I'll take you there coochie. Excuse me? I got big drawers wearing coochie. Getting sick and tired of y'all coochie. Catch you if you fall coochie. Back straight, walking tall coochie. Never star coochie, even as my back aches. My coochie done push shovels and rakes. My coochie had to battle hate. Guess it's fate and often debate on why it should exist. My coochie is the black fist. Love and hate carved in this abyss, and y'all, my coochie still exists. To avoid too many visitors, resist the unwanted solicitors, and find the chosen few. My coochie created you. My coochie created you. My coochie created you. I got Motown coochie. Harlem bound coochie. My coochie was even in the Great Migration. And like Washington and Du Bois, my coochie screamed for education. My coochie supported Black Panthers, Soul, Final Cause. I got Stokely Carmichael Prone position coochie to keep y'all enthralled. I got counter-revolutionary, lesbian, man-hating, feminist, womanist, black male, emasculating coochie. At least that's what I've been told. And not to put you on hold, but look between your foes and investigate your treasure. And those are old coochie, new coochie. My coochie and your coochie can only bring true pleasure. Because our clothing, our feet, I give the dick what it needs. I got the dick blues. The dick blues.
Oh, wait, boy, I'm glad I slid into the corner looking ship-tabulous, because they said black ice, and you know you don't see that shit coming like skirt, in here.
Let me unmute. Let's go, y'all. Look at Shim. You jumping the gun like always, man. At least let me see how the people doing before you tell the people who coming on the show. Jesus, but you did look sexy in your spadazzle, though. I do say that. Y'all, I hope y'all had an absolutely amazing day today, because I did. Yeah, and y'all know when it comes to this corner I don't be hopping around when it comes to this dope that I be pushing. So y'all know I had to have it come through like ice, ice, baby. And I ain't talking about no vanilla. You better believe that, man. This king right here. Oh, hold on. Before I even get into this king, look at me jumping the gun. Cause of Shim. Look at Shim. It always be your fault. Shout out to Reward B for being that spotlight, man. She was voted by the best group in the house, man. Y'all know that's PPC. If y'all ain't a part of PPC, y'all better tap in, man, and show why you got the power that you got. Man, advertise yourself, get in that thing, and let's go. That's the best group in the house, y'all. Follow that thing. Now, let me get into it right here. Boom, 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 boom. This week we doing something a little different, y'all. But y'all know when it comes to the corner, I'll be pushing that dope and I ain't messing around. So y'all know what it is. This king right here, he ran out the windy city. Maybe that's why he's so cold. And when it comes to this poetry thing, he's an American poet, international spoken word life artist. He's an all-around entrepreneur and engineer, y'all. I'm trying to tell you, he be entertaining from DJing all the way to all the P's. And y'all know how much I love me some P's, y'all. He's a promoter, a producer, a published author. Some may say he's a preacher because y'all, he even be reaching out to the people, mentoring. He's an activist. He founded his own National Spoken Words Award in 2016. Y'all, we ain't even got to his accolades yet. I'm just hyping it up for what's going on, man. Y'all know what it is. Help me welcome Blaq Ice.
400 years of disrespect and inequality, and it's bothering me, but they ain't listening. The only time they seem to pay attention is when we breaking something, but they're too blind to see that this is live on TV. Unscramble the line, straighten the antenna. Let's go back to 1619 Virginia, America. This is when we stepped off the slave ships and stepped on the auction block. Sold to the highest bidder like livestock. Since that moment, we've been playing on two.
Unmute this thing. I be having problems with the Y'all see him. I'm muted back up. Y'all can't hear me? Okay, there it is right there, man. Look, I'm so excited about this thing. I keep forgetting to unmute myself. People, y'all see who it is. It's the man himself, the king of poetry, Blaq Ice. How you doing tonight, King?
I'll tell you exactly how I'm doing. Check this out. I am a poet. I breathe life into the souls of men with my words. I give the most grounded listener wings to make them fly like birds. I'm a god in the game. A breath of fresh air, drink from the flow of this fountain and you would never thirst. I've been given the power to make the blind see, the deaf hear, and the dumb speak with one verse. I'm putting this game on my shoulders like Atlas. I took a step down just to take king status. Who you know that came in the game and changed the whole scene? Who you know that took 4 mortal men and made them all kings? I've been called the boy wonder. And although I'm not robbing your boy so cold, I'm still in the weatherman's thunder. I'm sick with these skills. And I've been listening to these watered down poets so long that I've developed gills. My career so vertical. And I got so many poet soldiers beside me that we be like that Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? See, I don't think y'all understand. See, Poppy, I've been tested. Spiritually invested in. I've been nailed to the cross, crossed out, but failure for me, and that's not an option. I'm not opting out. I'm in it to win. This life has a way of purging you, mentally discouraging you. But I'm just a servant sent here to serve you, although some of you have said to me, the nerve of you. Feeling like the weight of this world has been placed on my shoulders. Obstacles, these rocks, they done turned to boulders. But I stay lifted, young, black, and gifted, taking this spoken word to another gear shifted, and I'm on cruise control. See, I was told to never let them see me sweat or lose control. But I stay so smooth that they can't even get next to me. I'm like that Texas tea. I should change my name from Blaq Ice to Black Gold because I got that Midas touch. And I know how to turn a minus into a plus. Plus, I got a plan. And as cool as I am, shit, I still got fans. Yet some of these lyricists still want to test me. I'll give you credit, though. You bringing out the best in me. The perfect blend of talent, intelligence, and sexy. And for what I'm about to say, I hope y'all don't think no less of me. But see, some of y'all can be so critical. Like everything we write got to be lyrical. And some of y'all content with performing on stage. No, man, I'm performing miracles. And before they started selling their poetry books and DVDs, I was on the Chicago L train selling Movados. And I think it's cool that you spit fire and sold out all your poetry CDs, but I got bigger things on my mind, like selling out Dusabos, Kenwoods, Regals, tinted windows you can't see through. But the good thing about it is I can see you. And I'm not impressed. You're about to witness one of the best spoken word artists live in the flesh. And since your boy been coming up, some of these bitch niggas been feeling neglect. But I'm so revered on this earth that mosquitoes don't even bite me out of respect. The scene is set. Here I come. The king is here. Sound the drums on your knees. Take a bow. Your boy is live. I'm Blaq and I'm proud. What's up, family?
God damn. So welcome, everybody. If y'all don't know why he the king, I bet y'all know that shit now. That was on 10. Yo. So where did this inspiration come from to just come off the top of the dome like that?
Well, you know, we teach in a poet organization, people of extraordinary talent. Rule number 5, always be prepared. You know what I'm saying? In any given situation. And what better way to introduce myself than the gift that I've been given and what I'm on here to do tonight. So let's go. Analog Soul in the building. I see you, baby.
Hey, man, I'm trying to tell you, the people starting to come in. I see these comments starting to pile on, and we about to really get into this thing, man. Because even when you were younger, you were in a hip-hop group, man, and y'all was breaking barriers then, being the first group that was on an actual cable TV show. Even back then, you know how cable was back then. And to get on a show, Can TV, yo, push it, and trying to get people to stop using dope back then, you were already trying to reach the people. Where did this mentality come from?
Well, again, I got mentors. We all got mentors. And so I had a manager, and he's still my mentor today. His name is Daryl Sax Preacher Minister Raheem Octon. You know, the various names that he's had.
Okay.
Still talk to him today. And when you talk about Black Ice, when you talk about my career, when you talk about my journey, I can't talk about my journey without mentioning that brother right there. So as a 15-year-old and as a 16-year-old, he took me under his wing. He would take me to schools so that I could rap at the schools. He would take me in the lounges. He would take me into the community events. And so the same things that he taught me to do and showed me to do, when I got old enough to do it on my own, I just took what he had already exposed me to and remixed it. And then it became people of extraordinary talent. And then the fruit don't fall too far from the tree. And so we still work together today. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Those who mentored you, they supposed to become your allies, not your enemies.
Facts, did big facts on that. So growing up in Chicago, what was that like? I mean, just, you know, especially back, you know, you started doing this poetry thing in the 80s. So what was it like just breaking the mold and coming out?
So baseball was my first love, but we all needed something to do in Chicago because it was already predicted that by the age of 21 that you would be dead or in jail by the age of 21. And so I needed something to do. So I was playing baseball. I was on a drill team. And then my mom, who's a Jehovah's Witness, she would bring home these books called My Book of Bible Story, or You Can Live Forever in Paradise on Earth. And I would open up the books and I would see the beautiful pictures that were inside the book. And I began to write poetry about the illustrations that I saw. And so fast forwarding, about 1985, there was a movie that came out called Crush Groove, right? And when I saw that movie, I was like, this, right? I can put my poetry to music and make it rap, and this is what I can do. And so the movie was the first thing that inspired me, but then I ran into a local rap group called MOC Rappers, Top Dog, Double C, and Baby Fresh. And this was the first time that I saw live people doing what I saw on the movie Crush Groove doing. And I was like, I got to do this. It moved me in a way where, 35 years later, I'm still on stage.
You still talking about it.
So what were y'all at 35 years ago when I first started this thing? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that was part of that journey.
Hey man, I was probably starting kindergarten or something. I was just coming around the corner of, I might have been third grade. I might have been third grade because I am in my 40s a little bit. So, I might have been third grade. But either way, I was still a baby and you're still relevant to this day. So it's just amazing that you're able to just come back out and reach one, teach one, and allow people to still absorb the knowledge that you have being so long in this game, man. It's called legendary, people. If y'all don't know what the flicker flacker I'm trying to say, man. So, just hearing hip hop. So for me, when I was young, it was like the movie Breaking. I have no idea what movie you're talking about, right? I'm gonna go YouTube it after the damn show so I can get up on game on this 35-year-old movie that had hip hop coming. But for me, it was the movie Breaking. You know what I'm saying? Like the first time I saw them, like, actually in the cleaning up the store and things like that. I'm a dancer, so I love that. You know what I'm saying? So I can kind of relate to a movie kind of changing your life, but just to have hip hop in your life like that, how did you go from hip hop to, all right, now it's time for me to be, because Black Ice wasn't your name back then.
Oh no, it was Ice Cold, the Ultimate Warrior. That was the name back then. That was the MC name, right? And so that transition, it was crazy the way it happened because I had started Poet and I started, A Spark in the building. I started Poet and I was touring CPS, Chicago Public Schools, with this program.
Okay.
And I have been doing that since like 1990. From 1990, I still do it today, but we're talking about when I first started getting into spoken word. So from 1990 all the way to 2000, that 10-year period, I was rapping, going into the schools, doing programs and all that. But something interesting happened in the year 2000. I was approached by some community activists. And they said, well, man, you own your own store. I had a clothing store at that time called DeAndre's No Limit. Of course, being inspired by Master P and the things that they were doing. But they said, man, we feel like you should run for alderman. You should run for political office. And I'm like, no, man, I ain't interested in that. And they kept, they didn't leave me alone. So eventually I end up running for alderman. So the brother who was my campaign manager, he said, hey, we don't want you to do no rapping while you're running for political office because we don't want to scare the peers away from supporting you. So I'm like, all right, cool. So at that time, I was invited to a spoken word set. And I went out to the spoken word set. Queen of erotic poetry, my big sister, Strawberry Taylor. So I went to that show and I saw spoken word and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I'll write this stuff and I'm an entertainer and I'm a performer. I said, they call on their lyricism and they call on their spitting and MCing, but I'm an entertainer. If I was to get into this game, spoken word, and bring my entertainment to it, I could change the game. But I couldn't perform. Remember, I was running for political office. So I would campaign during the day and I would sneak out at night to enter poetry competitions. And I would and I would win these poetry slams. We got my man Jelly Bean Jennings in the building. I would win these poetry slams, and that's how I made that transition from hip hop. Well, I ain't gonna say from hip hop because spoken word is hip hop, but from
it's hip hop. I was just gonna say definitely
rap to spoken word. That happened in the year 2000.
Okay, then, man. So before you get out of here for a little while, because we got to do a PPC commercial break, man. We always trying to support Black art. But before you get out of here, I would love for you to come on through with another piece.
Well, we talked about Chicago, right? And Chicago life. So let's expose you to my city poetically. Chicago.
Let's get there.
We had over 700 murders last year. Do your math, that's more than double the days there are in a year. Mothers fear their babies not making it home from school. Unemployed brothers ain't got time to look for a job, but got time to be on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, acting a fool. And these gangs out here ain't following no rules. They ain't got no structure, but they knew exactly what they were doing when they denied parole for Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover. See, there's an old saying, cut off the head and the body would fall. Let this be a lesson to all y'all. And I'm a part of some of these Chicago artists who boast to the world on how their lyrics be so cold. And some of them will get right on stage and talk about how God saved their soul. but won't get out here and go to none of these schools or get out here on none of these streets to even try to save just one soul. And the church, y'all didn't hear me. I said, and the church, if you're really there to help save lives, then let me make a proposal. If the church you attend ain't involved in community affairs to help save lives, then damn it, stop paying your tithes. And as for the Black Lives Matter movement, you didn't think I was going to let you off the hook, did you? I believe that Black Lives matter, but when are Black lives going to matter to Black people? March in the hood like you do downtown. Shut down some of these gas stations and liquor stores that have become breeding grounds for our babies to get shot down like you do those businesses on Black Friday downtown. Chicago, home of the world champion Chicago Sky, home of the monsters of the Midway, home of Michael Jordan and the Chicago bullshit. See, Darlene, I don't think they understand. What's going down in Chicago has always been about land, and I recognize the hustle. But did you ever notice that as soon as they tore the projects down, the crime rate in Chicago doubled? Joe, they wanted to displace these gangs to go live where those gangs live. And then they let them kill one another. So what if the innocent baby gets killed? We'll go to the funeral and send flowers to the mother. In the meantime, let the land on the south side and the west side become devalued. And I ain't no scholar, but in our community right now, they selling vacant land for just $1. And Nova, like the land on the south side and the west side, they let it become devalued. And again, I ain't no scholar, but in our community right now, they selling vacant land for just $1. Chicago, we had over 700 murders last year, and we all have a responsibility to come out of the nightclub and get in these streets. Come out of the four walls of the church and get in these streets. Get off of your social media soapbox and get in these streets. See, we all like to talk, and we love for our voices to be heard. But when are they going to realize that it's our actions that speaks louder than our words? Chicago, that's their piece.
Man, oh man, I don't know what Shim at, but Shim, you should have been coming up here saying something about that one right there. That piece right there was freaking amazing. I can't wait on the king to come back up so he can hit us with some more of this. But y'all know I had to take a PPC commercial break. Where my commercial at? Where we at with it? King.
Yo.
Meek, how you doing tonight, King?
Ah, man, phenomenal. How about you?
Man, I cannot complain. I cannot complain. I am thirsty to see this wonderful stuff that you and the fam create, y'all. I ran into them, if y'all remember the flyer that I had put up a couple weeks ago. I ran into them at Cascade Park, where I love to go meditate and get my groove on. And they had crystals. The kids was out there making the necklaces. They had the arms. They had, man, he had so much stuff out there. King, please let us see some of this stuff you was out there creating.
Okay, definitely. I'm about to switch the camera up. I had to figure out how.
You gotta figure it out. Okay, then let's get there. I love it. Pick some of the pieces up. Tell us about them, man. Let me know what we're looking at.
Definitely. Okay, yeah. So we have handcrafted crystal jewelry. We have some copper pieces, brass, sterling silver, and things like that.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely appreciate it.
And you and the family make these. How long does it take to make a piece?
Man, we do real basic pieces, like basic swirl rings. I teach the kids how to do that, just so they can get used to bending and things like that. And they just really create whatever they want: bracelets, pendants, necklaces. But the more complicated pieces take a little bit longer. Of course, but
I love that, man. I mean, just the artistic mindset to sit down and be able to create that. How old are the kids that are helping create this beautiful art?
8, 9, and 10, literally.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Y'all, this our younger generation, man, letting y'all know that art still matters. I love this, and I love how he's teaching them how to craft so that when they get older, they don't have to work for anybody else. They can use their hands to make their own money, their own path, their own ways, man. Y'all see this? Tell the people how they can order some of this stuff.
Yeah, so they can check me out on Instagram at shop new vibe 9, and new vibe is spelled in. Hold on, let me see. Oh, like this.
There it is. I'm trying to tell you. That's right. Get close to it. Y'all see it
Oh,
right there. Please tap into the family and let them and support y'all. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? I
definitely. I
don't know
have
what you're
to.
going down there to do, but definitely support. These are beautiful, handcrafted jewels, man. Y'all see, I stay with me a piece on. I don't know if y'all can see, but I stay with a piece on. The king did not make my piece, but y'all, if y'all looking for peace, sometimes it's all about what you protect and what you shield yourself with. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's what you walk away from, man. And it's always about the hands that deliver that peace as well. So, King, thank you so much for blessing us. You definitely have to come back around for the one time so that you can show us some more of your artwork so that people can tap in and know how to get to you. All right,
Definitely.
we in there.
Yeah, we
Thank
in
you
there.
so much, King. Let me get now. Let me get the king of poetry back in this thing, man. Y'all already know what it is. 8 books published, over 20 albums and DVD releases, 10 stage plays, over 4 movies, 20 awards. Damn, y'all, I feel like I'm doing his intro all over again, man. Like, where in the flicker flacker does he even find the drive to be able to do all this? It's amazing. Let's go, Black Ice.
Well, let me make one
I'm trying to tell you.
let me make one
I'm
correction.
trying to tell you. I see you. I see you.
30 albums. Let me make one correction. 30 albums.
Oh, oh, that's it. That's I couldn't even do it. That's why I said over 20. Cause y'all, the list goes on and the list goes on. No cap. If y'all looking for some motivation, if you're looking for somewhere to get your mindset right, just to be in the right in mind state, tap into Black Ice, y'all. I've been listening to a lot of his stuff on YouTube, man. Tell the people how they can find you.
Well, Blaq is spelled Blaq, and I always I love acronyms. So BLAQ, believe in the Lord, ask questions, right? Ice, intelligent, creative, and extraordinary. But you can find me on all platforms. King of Poetry, Blaq Ice. King of Poetry, Blaq Ice, BLAQICE. So that goes for YouTube, that goes for Instagram, that goes for Twitter, that goes for Facebook, that goes for Snapchat, and all those other various social medias. But hit me on my line, man. I'll put my number up there. Let's parlay. Y'all need to come to Chicago in
I'm trying
September.
to tell you. There it is, and the list goes on. Y'all see, he was still naming places that y'all can tap in. There's no reason. That's why he's the king of this thing, man. He's everywhere. He everywhere I want to be. I need to be. You know what I'm saying? I love the energy. So you had something like, well, before I even get into that, how does it feel going from just being regular old Tyrone to, that loves hip hop to being like turning into the king of poetry? How does that like feel?
Well, I got a taste of it in high school. I was very popular in high school as Ice Cold, the Ultimate Warrior, the MC. There's the wifey on the line. Black Isis is in the building. Thank you, baby.
Power couple, y'all. Power couple.
So yeah, it started in high school. So I got a little bit what I'm getting now in high school. It's just that in high school we didn't have social media, and so people didn't know me all over the world like they know me today, but they did know me in my own city of Chicago. So to see what was started in the 80s turn out to be what it is in 2023, I give all praise and honor to God for just allowing me the platform and giving me this gift. And it's crazy because I love writing so much that I write for both male and females, for both elders and young people. So there's a lot of poets today that are getting poems that I wrote, saying for them. And it's just a gift that I just can't even explain, but I love it so much.
Oh man, so y'all didn't even hear how he just threw that in on the slide. Real corner shit. Like he was like, I'm a ghostwriter as well. Don't forget, I be yeah, some of this stuff people be out here spitting. No, that's me. Where's Shim at? Shim be taking credit for every damn thing, man. I think Shim took credit for some of your awards and everything. You know what I mean? Shim, I don't know where that fool at, but he sure definitely need to make an appearance around this thing for the one time. I love when Shim pop on the guy. But that's a Shim mindset, man, just to be out here. How do you find, like, when you're writing for other people, how do you tap into, their point of view of things? I guess, how do you drop the black ice and become what they need in that moment?
Well, my sister Analog Soul is on the line. We co-wrote one of her pieces together called Goddess. But using her as an example, she's a brilliant, brilliant artist. She's a triple threat. She's an actress, she's a vocalist, and she's a spoken word artist, poet, and painter, actually, too. So when I was writing Goddess, and this was something that I introduced to her, and what I want to do with most people is at least start them out on a piece and let them finish it. So it could be, some of their own stuff in there. But when I was thinking about this piece for her, I was like, Goddess, she got the big old afro and everything. She's Afrocentric, but I just felt like she was missing that real Afrocentric type of piece. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So when I began to write it as if I was her and as if she was the one that was saying it about herself. And so I actually have to embody the spirit of the person that I am writing for when I'm writing. And that's a beautiful challenge within itself, because it's easy for me to be Black Ice and write about Black Ice, but it's a challenge to be another person and put myself in another person's shoes and write as if I was them.
Oh, no doubt. I couldn't even imagine getting to that point where I'm doing that, because I would think that it would be hard to kind of tap back into yourself once you had to tap into that. You know what I'm saying? So do you have a regimen that you do before you to digress and come back down to who you are once you finish a piece like that?
Well, because I wear so many hats right now, I could be DeAndre, or I could be Tyrone at the job, or I can be a minister, DeAndre, or I could be Black Ice. So I'm already multiple different people, or different, there's different hats or aspects that I wear already. So with me, it's not an issue coming back down and tapping back into the Black Ice, theme, versus if I'm producing an album for someone else or writing for someone else. In that moment, at that time, I'm actually them. I'm embodying their spirit. But once it's turned off, I can go produce somebody else, or I can go write for somebody else. And I can pick up that spirit of them. And then when it's time for me to come back to being me, then I'm back home. So yeah, I can't explain how I'm able to transform like that, but that's another gift that I thank God that he's blessed me with.
Hey, man, and it is a blessing. So, y'all, the king kind of joked with me, and he was like, you know what I mean? Because, this is not how the PPC normally go. Usually we have 3 or 4 poets. They go around in a circle, and, we get it in. We be lighting it up. But, when the king make a, tap in, like, yo, I need that hour. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what the hell? But at the same time, he was like, yo, get your Wendy Williams on. And at first I was like, shit, she a good ass host. And I'm a good ass host. She looking like a man. I looking like a shim. Shit, we in here. And that's how it came together. So it was just an honor to be able to, the comparison for him to be like, get your Wendy Williams on. Like, that's amazing for me and somebody to think that I got that kind of drive, y'all. Like, I was hugging myself and patting myself on the back, like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, and to be nominated, y'all don't even understand. Like, that is amazing feeling.
And let me say this about you, Poppy. When I saw your determination and when I saw your drive, when we first started communicating with one another, and I started researching you and going to look at your shows and how you were presenting yourself and everything, I was like, this sister, this queen on 10. And she got a drive out of this world, and she goes hard for what she believes in. I was like, I got to support that. And it was just a matter of finding a good time where both of us was available and I can dedicate that time to the show. So today is the day, and I want to say congratulations to you because you have been honored and selected to be nominated for a National Spoken Word Award for what, best host or best show?
Yeah, it's definitely best, you know what I'm saying, best show, Poppy's Poetry Corner. We
Okay.
definitely up through there, you know what I'm saying? So I'm loving it, you know what I mean? And of course I'm the host with the most. T for tough. Y'all definitely get out there and get y'all vote on, man. It's up. But y'all know what? I felt like the moment that it came down and people was hitting me up, I felt like I had already won, y'all. Just to be nominated with some of the tops up there, y'all go look at the list. It's an amazing list. And you've been doing this since 2016, just, you know, rewarding people that you see in your community that you feel like deserve this thing, and hats off to you for not being so huge that you don't see everybody around you. I love that, you know what I'm saying, about you. And the communication, like you was on 10 the whole time. You was like, yo, we're gonna get there. We gonna get there. And I was like, I already know. I ain't hound you, ain't have to nothing. You was like, yo, what's up? We in there? I'm like, let's go.
That's right.
I loved it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And let me say this, because of my experience and my journey of losing my son at the age of 15 to cancer, I know that one day Black Ice won't be here. So my prayer to God was to give me the wisdom, the skill, and the gift to create something that I can leave behind when I'm no longer here. So you can still get Poet Radio on Monday nights, open mic. Got to be there. I taught them how to run the boards and how to host it. We've been on the air live for 12 years now on Monday night, doing open mic poetry, right? And so we got the National Spoken Word Awards. It's already created. It's already there. And so like any franchise, all you got to do is follow the model and keep it going. And so to reach back to you and to reach back to other artists and brothers and sisters, it's to prepare you all to take our place when we're no longer here. Because just because we're absent don't mean that this thing should stop. Because so many people benefit from Poppy's Corner, from your platform and what you're doing. And that's what it's all about.
I mean, facts, and no cap, y'all, Monday nights be lit. If y'all looking for something to do on Monday nights, y'all better tap in, y'all, and the line be long, for real, for real. Like, poets from all over the world literally tap in on one line, and
Yep.
dope of vibe, y'all. Y'all wouldn't even imagine how dope the vibe is. I love it on Monday nights when I can stay up. I'm on old people stuff, you know what I'm saying? So most of the time I be asleep. But when I can stay up, y'all, I definitely get my poetry on with Black Ice Talk Show, yo. It is so lit. So again, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for being a blessing to poets out here and not putting back in the community, not just getting everything you can get out of it and keep going with it like that. Yo, I hope I'm not froze for real.
A little bit. Well, look, since my sister is froze, let me go ahead and get into this next piece. And hopefully we can do this thing. So the name of this piece right here is called The Elevator. Keisha, let's do it. There's this elevator, right? It's full of people. Some family, some friends, some strangers, but you're all in the basement. See, the basement represents that brand new idea that was blessed to be manifested in your mind. But by the time you share your idea with the 10 people standing on the elevator next to you, some of them get the hell off before the door even closes. Sort of like those so-called friends. The ones who you thought would be there through thick and thin, down to the end, didn't even make it to the first floor. The door closes. The elevator rises. Much to your surprise, you're making progress. The bell rings, you're at the first floor. The door opens, and guess what happens next? Those childhood friends, well, they got goals of their own. Time for you to be strong because you're going to lose some of these friends during this ride and feel alone. But as they walk out, a few more friends walk in. You started off with 10, and now you're down to 8. Now, one of the new friends who just walked in pressed floor 2. So you know what that means. The next time the elevator door opens, they'll be going too. But before they left, they introduced you to one of their friends who became your friend. Then y'all became close like kin. The door opens at floor 2. You lose a few, but one man walks in and he becomes your boyfriend. And now we're down to 7. Now only 4 out of the 7 are the original occupants that you begin with. In all, there are 2 strangers, one cousin, your mom, your friend, one new friend, and a boyfriend. Now the elevator passes floor 3. Seems like life is finally looking up. But just as soon as you get comfortable, you're at the 4th floor and the door opens up. You're staring death right in the face. Quickly you step back. He reaches in his arm and unexpectedly takes your mom. Everyone in the elevator consoles you. But this takes an emotional toll on you and your relationship. Everything you ever believed in or ever knew about is in doubt. You become so emotionally cold that right before the doors close, your boyfriend walks out. What's to expect by floor 5? Now, what just happened on the 4th floor was a game changer. But by the time floor 5 arrives, you will lose one of those strangers. But before he leaves, he whispers to you, "There's something that I hope that you see." She said, "What's that?" That God wants you to go through everything that you're going through in order for you to get to where it is he wants you to be. He leaves. 4 remains. Only 1 more floor to go. But between the 5th and the 6th floor, you notice something. The other stranger reaches around you and hits the stop button. Everything is frozen except you and him. He said, "Okay, it's time for us to talk." Now, I've been here since the beginning, and I've seen everything that happened. And not once did you ever acknowledge me. I even gave you words of encouragement when you lost your mommy. I thought at that point you would want to get to know me. Look around. Out of the 10 that you started out with, nostalgia, there's only a few. Now you have a choice or 2. You can continue on. Use the experience of what you've been through to help heal, or you can do what you've been thinking, go in that person, take those pills. Keisha said, "No, man, I want to live." Well, then you need to learn how to forgive. She now knew who she was talking to. She takes a deep breath and asks for forgiveness, but he said, "I'll forgive you when you learn how to forgive yourself." He pressed the button. The bell rings. The door opens at the 6th floor. To your surprise, your ex-boyfriend is standing there, offer you his hand. You turn right around, look at that man right in the face, and smile. See, out of the many people that have come into your life, you've already lost the majority. Expect for the ones closest to you to disappoint you, let you down, betray you, but don't you change, stay you. And at the end of the day, when you place your family and friends before God, he will remove them to show you that he's a jealous God, and none should be placed before him. Trust him to know that he will replace everything stolen, restore everything lost, and heal everything broken. See, in life, you're going to have some knockdowns on the way up, but it's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get back up. The elevator. That's that piece.
Boy, no cap. Like if I took this cap off,
Yo.
you'll still be locked and loaded like me. Let's go.
Oh, about time, Shim. About time, Shim. Thank you so much for making an appearance, Shim. I love when, yes, he is definitely locked and loaded, just like you. Thank you for coming in on that with such a dope piece, especially since I was froze and caught up in the Matrix and shit. You know what I mean? I can't even give a good thank you. I be burning the airwaves down, man, that I just get caught in the Matrix, man. They don't even want me to come out with it. So what inspired that piece, King? Because that was a deep piece.
So we go back to our previous conversation about putting myself in the shoes of someone else and writing their story. So we have a poet member by the name of Black Beauty, and she shared with me her testimony about how her mom passed away and all these things. My man, the Endurer in the building, peace and blessings, King. She shared with me her journey and her story. And I began, as she was talking, I began to pen this poem in the middle of our conversation. And that's how I came up with the poem, The Elevator. It was inspired by our conversation and by her testimony and what she had been through in her life. And not only is The Elevator penned and inspired that way, many of the poems that I write many of the poems inspired that way as well.
I mean, I just want to know how many awards does it take before you deem yourself the king of this poetry thing? Because I'm sure some of them shits belong to me. You can get them back while you right here on the corner, because I know I had to write some of that fi-fi you be spitting, boy.
So listen, that was a good question about the moniker King of Poetry. And so I always correct people. I never use the term the King of Poetry. I always use King of Poetry. The is the definite article, and it separates anything else that's like it. And so I don't use the term the King of Poetry because I'm not the only one. And so every year or every other year, I throw an event called the Kings and Queens of Poetry, in which I honor brothers and sisters who have left legacies in the game and who have created foundations. I honor them as the kings and as the queens of poetry that they are. But when I'm referring to myself, I only use the term King of Poetry, not the King of Poetry. And I know we have a little bit of time back.
Jesus. Man, this thing playing with me tonight. I don't know what in the world going on. I ain't had this happening forever, my ladies. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if y'all over on the lines too hard or what's going on. It's the Wi-Fi bill. Do y'all know how we do it on the corner? I don't know. Is they tapping my lines? What the hell is really going on out here tonight? Thank you so much, King, for holding it down and coming with the dopeness, man. Am I stuck again?
No, you good. You good.
We in there?
You in there.
All right. Okay. I had to make sure. I got to make sure because I'm definitely glitching. So how did becoming a father change your life?
Going back to talking about Chicago, because it's relative to that conversation. In Chicago, growing up in the 80s and in the 90s, it was said that you would either be dead or in jail by the age of 21. And so my goal was to at least have a son by the age of 21, because I was like, I might not live too much longer than 21 living on these Chicago streets. And so my firstborn was born, Tyrone DeAndre Hawthorne, Nuke Bomb. That's the one we just did the celebration for and the balloon release for. It just changed my life totally. 3 years after that, my secondborn was born, Denzel. So I had an heir and a spare. And so God blessed me with two boys. And at the age of 13, my firstborn was diagnosed with cancer. It was a form of cancer called osteosarcoma. And it generated or originated in the bone of his leg and the shin part of his leg. And so being a father made me want to deposit something in young people, especially my own seed. But when I lost my son on September the 3rd, 2008, it just made me go harder with the community work that I do and that we do as the Poet organization, because I made a promise to God that if I couldn't save his life, that I would go out there and I would try to save as many lives as of many young people as I could and as I can. And so fatherhood brought that nurturing spirit of wanting to give back to the youth.
Hey, that is so dope because you do scholarships for the graduating kids to help with some of the monies that it takes to graduate. You also donate back to victims that have, families that have kids who are no longer here, who've been slain, or just, you just reach back. So just you go so far and beyond, because your son, unfortunately left here from disease, but yet you go and push it to the limit and you actually help with any and everything you can out there. What brought that on instead of just sticking to just, helping with the disease and helping families with the Make-A-Wish Foundation?
So we go back to our previous conversation about my mentor, how I got into the schools and doing those type of things. So my mentor, sax preacher, Minister Raheem Octon, he is the one who led me on that path at an early age of giving back, going into schools and doing mentorship work. And so I've been doing this mentorship work since 1990 when I began the Poet organization. What you see today is just an extension of what was being done in 1990, and with a greater passion, because I got a greater purpose that's behind it now. And I tell the young people, my son is not alive, but keep his memory alive through you by being successful in school. Stand away from drugs and stand away from gangs and stand away from those things. Go out there and be successful. And when you become successful, it's like my son becoming successful, because I'm leaving his spirit within you.
Man, that's a way to push yourself if there's no other way. Just to think that your seed, the seeds that you're planting, are really out here growing legs and living. And you've done this for over decades that you've been putting this down, man. That is an amazing thing. So I know we got to get back into it. I know you got another piece for us tonight.
So let's share this piece. This is a piece that's so personal, and it's a little bit hurtful, and it's a piece that I wish that I never had to write. But it's also a piece that saved my life, because when I lost my son, I was suicidal, and I just didn't know how to express that stuff. You know, Black people, we don't go to counseling like we should.
Right.
The name of this poem is called Ego. I was angry.
Well, let's get to it.
I was angry.
Ooh.
So the name of this piece is called Ego, Easing God Out. Hey, God, where you at? I've been looking for you. Seems like you've been avoiding me or something. And I've been searching for you for years with no answer, just anticipation. And I've been going through this transformation, but every time I call on you, God, it's like I get put on hold. And they say that you hear all and that you see all, but seems like you ain't never available, God, when I call. See, y'all, I remember it was January 91. I had just left Simeon High School's Martin Luther King ceremony speaking. I wasn't feeling too well that day. Little did I know that all the while, my appendix had been leaking. And where were you, God? Just what I thought, nowhere to be found. And if it wasn't for my son's mother convincing me to go to St. Bernard's Hospital that night, Black Ice wouldn't be here on PAPI'S corner right now. And where were you at, God, that morning when I went to work, and when I got to 123rd and Kesey, right by the cemetery, this lady ran the light. The last thing I saw, family, was headlights. A 3-car collision that damn near took my life. But where were you, God? And where were you at, God, when my mother was stricken with cervical cancer? She's been going to the Kingdom Hall, serving him since before I was born, and we both called on you, and you still didn't answer. Come on, God, this is my mother. Tell me, is this how he treats all his sons and his daughters? And where were you at, God, that day my son died? I sat there at the University of Chicago and I watched him come back twice. You could have intervened, God. You could have saved his life, but where were you, God? And where were you at, God, when... Okay, my son, I've heard enough. Now I know that times for you have been rough, but son, where's your faith? Seems like you only seek my face when you need me. If I am a full-time God, my son, do you really believe in me? Well, if so, then you would know that I am the creator of the universe. All that you see from the highest heights of heaven to what you have discovered beneath the earth. See, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I am the God of Moses, Lot, and David. I am the one who made Solomon wise. I put Noah in the ark before the waters could rise. I gave Samson the strength to destroy the Philistines with no eyes. I am that smooth stone that David slung that smote Goliath in the head. The cracks that crumble the walls of Jericho. The same one that rose Lazarus from the dead. I am the blood of the lamb of the doorpost that kept the children of Israel safe from harm. Even the staff in Moses' right arm. And he gave me the power to split the Red Sea in half. Shall I go on? I said, please forgive me, Father. He said, no, son, I already have. But like Jonah, you've been running from your mission. I've been trying to reach you and speak to you for years, but your ego just wouldn't let you listen. When your appendix was spreading poison through your body, I was the voice that spake to your son's mother, warning you. And do you remember what you promised me, my son? Yes, Lord, I do. I promised that if you allow me to make it through, then I would turn my life over to you. But what did you do? You continued to play. So I spoke to you again in the form of a 3-car collision, but I allowed you to walk away that day. And have you ever asked yourself the question why the accident was by a grave site? I was showing you that the road that you were traveling on ended at the cemetery if you change your life. But you still didn't listen. And as for your mother's cervical cancer, I am the reason why your mother's cancer is in remission, and I know your son's gone. But his body was sick, so I relieved him of his pain and I called him home. And yet and still I stayed by your side all those moments that you felt alone, yet you still rejected my truth. If you only could have put your ego to the side and listened to all those whom I sent to you. Lord, you mean to tell me, well, all the while I was waiting to hear from you, you were sending me messages through all those whom I rejected? Yes, my son, this is true. And instead of focusing on the guides, submit to the truth that you find inside. For Satan is the one who subtracts and divides, but my God is the one who adds and multiplies. I'm telling y'all, he opened my eyes. And so to those of you who can't accept the truth, because your ego won't allow you to accept who the truth is coming through, take this as a lesson. Because see, God just ain't using these pastors today, because asking some of these pastors questions is just like asking blind men for directions. But it's the truth that counts. And in this case, my ego just wasn't my ego, but my ego was easing God out. It's that peace.
Boy, I feel you on that shit. That gave me chills. Ooh, wait.
Yes, Shim, you right. That shit did give me chills. So you wrote that piece in an angry place in life. Did you use it as more than therapy? I mean, how did you even get all of those words to come together with so much anger going through your heart at the time?
Well, I have a spiritual foundation. You know, my mom deposited that in me. And so although I was angry, I knew somewhere in what I was going through, there was a teaching moment and somewhere during this journey. So half the poem is the angry part and the accusing part. And then the other half is the, oh, okay, cool. You've been trying to get my attention all this time. You tried to get my attention when it was the accident. You tried to get my attention when my mother was stricken with cervical cancer. You tried to get my attention when my appendix was leaking. You've been trying to get my attention at the death of my son. All right, God, I hear you. You have an assignment for me and I have a job to do. So not only did I write that poem for self-healing and for therapy, that poem became the poem that I would use to heal so many other people, not just here in Chicago, but all around the world.
Yo, that is so inspiring. You don't even know how inspiring that is. Just to hear that you took a piece of your heart, and allowed it to heal not just yourself but the world. That is simply amazing. And tell me, how does it feel to be international, man? I talked about it in the beginning, but we ain't really getting to talk about it. Like, how does it feel to travel around the world doing what the flicka you love, man?
You know, a part of it is slightly intimidating, slightly challenging, but this is what I've been preparing my whole life to do. I mean, in Chicago in the 80s, you know what we was doing? We was rapping on a CTAL train in front of strangers of all nationalities. This is how we raised money to buy our school clothes. So all the things that I have been doing, rapping on the L, rapping on a street corner, rapping in front of auditoriums of my people, rapping for political figures. All those things were preparing me. The only thing that I had to do at that point was make sure that I stayed marketable. And that's what I want to talk to the poets who are listening tonight about. Are you marketable? Are you only writing pieces for black people? Your experiences, just talking about your hurt and your pain, you're going to limit yourself. What I challenge the poet members to do, and we have artist development classes, write me a poem that's not talking about something that happened to you. Write me a poem that you would do in front of a non-black audience outside of America. Don't know nothing about George Floyd, don't know nothing about slavery and the things that we went through. But you're in another country and you performing for a whole group of people, different nationality of another country. What could you do that they could relate to? And so, in addition to our personal testimonies, we must begin to expand our pens to write things that are relevant to all people. And that's how you become international, and that's how you stay marketable.
Yo, that's how you do it for the culture. I mean, that's just how you do it for the culture, period. That's how you reach one, teach one. I'm going to take that advice and I'm definitely going to tap into that side. Although I have a lot of pieces that I've tapped into, but again, I'm new to this, you know what I'm saying? But I'm also true to this. So it's so many pieces that I have that I haven't even experience or got out and tried to experiment with. So I definitely appreciate the advice. Tonight was a vibe, King. Thank you so much for coming through on Poppy's Poetry Corner. Man, PPC, y'all are the best for tapping in. Everybody who from Chicago who tapped in, I seen so many new names in here tonight. It was just a blessing to even be able to kick it with somebody who is just, come on, he ice cold, baby. Can't go wrong with that. I got one more question before we get off of this thing, y'all. So you got to change your name more times than P. Diddy, right? Is that one of the secrets to how to market yourself? Is that one of the secrets to how to art? Is that part of your growth? With growth change came the name change.
Well, it's about, like you said, reinventing yourself. And so a part of the name is the company, Black Ice Production, that throws National Spoken Word Awards and all those things. National Spoken Word Awards is an umbrella under Black Ice Production, but it's a whole entity within itself. If I stop doing spoken word poetry today, I'm still a producer. I'm still the CEO and president of the National Spoken Word Award. Poet Radio is still produced and managed by Black Ice. So DJ Tony Swagger, that's the other one right there. So being able to reinvent yourself makes you stay marketable, because again, man, times is changing just like that, and what people are interested in is changing just like that. You got to appeal to people's attention span. So keep reinventing yourself, keep doing what you're doing. And I want to say again, congratulations to you all, whoever's out there. Please vote for Poppy's Corner. I know you in the category with Voices Behind the Pens on Poet Radio, but I'm on your platform. People to vote for you, Poppy's Corner. She's nominated for Best National Spoken Word Award radio show or podcast or media.
No, you're actually right. I'm actually going for host, man. I'm actually up for the show, like the poetry show. The host, you know what I'm saying? Not the host, but the actual show. So yeah, to be up there with your show, come on, you've been rocking for over 10 years. I already won, people. Vote. But vote for the king as well, because for me, I'm already feeling like I did something major, and just to be seen and be recognized, man, I'm humble, and I know what that word means, but I'm very humble to the fact of who I sit next to on that what is it, my throne, because you definitely up on the throne. So thank you so much.
But let me say this to you: you got a big brother now, right? So don't ever feel like you need to search for information that I have. If there's anything you need to know, any information or advice that you need, you got my cell phone number, you got my personal information. Reach out to your brother. You know what I'm saying? You come to Chicago, we rolling out the red carpet for you. You got a stage and you got a platform to hit. You know what I'm saying? So
Definitely. I'm gonna plan a trip just because of that. Just because who Big Bro is, I'm planning a trip. I need to come up there and get some of this hot ATL in that windy city. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna breeze through for a little while. Y'all get a little bit too cold for my nature. You know what I'm saying? Like I was up there for 4 years in Wisconsin. They told me I hadn't hit a real snow yet because I hadn't been snowed in my house. I packed my shit the same year. You heard me? I had to get up out of there. But yo, thank you so much for coming on the platform. Thank you so much for being supportive. You already know, don't go nowhere. I just want to give you a little love before we get off the air. Y'all already know how we do this thing, man. Make sure that y'all wake up with gratitude so it shows in your attitude so you can reach those major latitudes. And we out of here. Thank you again, Black Ice, man. That was the bomb.
Y'all know tomorrow Keynote's gonna be doing her little foo-foo dance to thank everybody for tapping in and coming and shit. So I'm gonna thank myself now, cause that just ain't my type of party. Not even this month right here. Y'all know I like some down in the valley where the hoes get naked. So I just wanna thank my damn self for a good show. Let's go!
She's a bad mother. Let's go to the corner.
Let's go!
Every Wednesday night.